أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب من شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أعوذ برب الناس ملك الناس إله الناس من شر الوسواس الخناس الذي يوسوس في صدور الناس من الجنة والناس. ربي أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك ربي أن يحضرون. ربي أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك ربي أن يحضرون. ربي أعوذ بك من همزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك ربي أن يحضرون. أفحسبتم أنما خلقناكم عبثا وأنكم إلينا لا ترجعون فتعالى الله الملك الحق لا إله إلا هو رب العرش الكريم. من يدعو مع الله إلها آخر لا برهان له به فإنما حسابه عند ربه إنه لا يفلح الكافرون. وقل رب اغفر وارحم وأنت خير الراحمين. فسبحان الله حين تمسون وحين تصبحون وله الحمد في السماوات والأرض وعشيا وحين تظهرون. يخرج الحي من الميت ويخرج الميت من الحي ويحيي الأرض بعد موتها وكذلك تخرجون. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله. وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون. والله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم. هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون. هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم. سلام على نوح في العالمين إنا كذلك نجزي المحسنين إنه من عبادنا المؤمنين. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم. اللهم إني أصبحت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فأتمم نعمتك علي وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أصبحت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فأتمم نعمتك علي وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أصبحت منك في نعمة وعافية وستر فأتمم نعمتك علي وعافيتك وسترك في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أصبحت أشهدك وأشهد حملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك إنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. اللهم إني أصبحت أشهدك وأشهد حملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك إنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. اللهم إني أصبحت أشهدك وأشهد حملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك إنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. اللهم إني أصبحت أشهدك وأشهد حملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك إنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. اللهم إني أصبحت أشهدك وأشهد حملة عرشك وملائكتك وجميع خلقك إنك أنت الله لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأن سيدنا محمدا عبدك ورسولك. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده. آمنت بالله العظيم وكفرت بالجبت والطاغوت واستمسكت بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله السميع العليم. آمنت بالله العظيم وكفرت بالجبت والطاغوت واستمسكت بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله السميع العليم. آمنت بالله العظيم وكفرت بالجبت والطاغوت واستمسكت بالعروة الوثقى لا انفصام لها والله السميع العليم. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبيا ورسولا. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبيا ورسولا. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبسيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم نبيا ورسولا. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت هو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم. 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 اللهم إني أسألك من فجاءة الخير وأعوذ بك من فجاءة الشر. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت خلقتني وأنا عبدك وأنا على عهدك ووعدك ما استطعت. أعوذ بك من شر ما صنعت. أبوء لك بنعمتك علي وأبوء بذنبي فاغفر لي فإنه لا يغفر الذنوب إلا أنت. اللهم أنت ربي لا إله إلا أنت عليك توكلت وأنت رب العرش العظيم. ما شاء الله كان وما لم يشأ لم يكن. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. أعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير وأن الله قد أحاط بكل شيء علما. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من شر نفسي شر كل دابة أنت آخذ من عصيتها إن ربي على صراط مستقيم. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك أستغيث ومن عذابك أستجير. اصلح لي شأني كله ولا تكلني إلى نفسي ولا إلى أحد من خلقك طرفة عين. اللهم إني أعوذ بك من الهم والحزن وأعوذ بك من العجز والكسل وأعوذ بك من الجبن والبخل وأعوذ بك من غلبة الدين وقهر الرجال. اللهم إني أسألك العافية في الدنيا والآخرة. اللهم إني أسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في ديني ودنياي وأهلي ومالي. اللهم استر عوراتي وآمن روعاتي. اللهم احفظني من بين يدي ومن خلفي، وعن يميني وعن شمالي، ومن فوقي، وأعوذ بعظمتك أن أغتال من تحتي. اللهم أنت خلقتني وأنت تهديني، وأنت تطعمني وأنت تسقيني، وأنت تميتني وأنت تحييني، وأنت على كل شيء قدير. أصبحنا على فطرة الإسلام وعلى كلمة الإخلاص وعلى دين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم، وعلى ملة أبينا إبراهيم حنيفا مسلما وما كان من المشركين. اللهم بك أصبحنا وبك أمسينا وبك نحيا وبك نموت وعليك نتوكل وإليك النشور. أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله والحمد لله رب العالمين. اللهم إني أسألك خير هذا اليوم، فتحه ونصره ونوره وبركته وهداه. اللهم إني أسألك خير هذا اليوم وخير ما فيه وخير ما قبله وخير ما بعده، وأعوذ بك من شر هذا اليوم وشر ما فيه وشر ما قبله وشر ما بعده. اللهم ما أصبح بي من نعمة وبأحد من خلقك فمنك وحدك لا شريك لك، فلك الحمد ولك الشكر على ذلك. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله العظيم وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله العظيم وبحمده عدد خلقه ورضا نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته. سبحان الله عدد ما خلق في السماء. سبحان الله عدد ما خلق في الأرض. سبحان الله عدد ما بين ذلك. سبحان الله عدد ما هو خالق. الحمد لله عدد ما خلق في السماء. الحمد لله عدد ما خلق في الأرض. الحمد لله عدد ما بين ذلك. الحمد لله عدد ما هو خالق. لا إله إلا الله عدد ما خلق في السماء. لا إله إلا الله عدد ما خلق في الأرض. لا إله إلا الله عدد ما بين ذلك. لا إله إلا الله عدد ما هو خالق. الله أكبر عدد ما خلق في السماء. الله أكبر عدد ما خلق في الأرض. الله أكبر عدد ما بين ذلك. الله أكبر عدد ما هو خالق. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما خلق في السماء. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما خلق في الأرض. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما بين ذلك. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم عدد ما هو خالق. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك له الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك له الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد يحيي ويميت وهو على كل شيء قدير عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد مفتاح باب رحمة الله عدد ما في علم الله، صلاة وسلاما دائمين بدوام ملك الله، وعلى آله وصحبه عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد مفتاح باب رحمة الله عدد ما في علم الله، صلاة وسلاما دائمين بدوام ملك الله، وعلى آله وصحبه عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. اللهم صل وسلم على سيدنا محمد مفتاح باب رحمة الله عدد ما في علم الله، صلاة وسلاما دائمين بدوام ملك الله، وعلى آله وصحبه عدد كل ذرة ألف مرة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون. لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاء المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردني الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون وآية لهم أن حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينسلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم ألا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء نطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم يرى الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون اللهم إنا نستحفظك ونستودعك أدياننا وأبداننا وأنفسنا وأهلنا وأولادنا وأموالنا وكل شيء أعطيتنا اللهم اجعلنا وإياهم في كنفك وأمانك وعياذك من كل شيطان مريد وجبار عنيد وذي بغي وذي حسد ومن شر كل ذي شر إنك على كل شيء قدير اللهم جملنا بالعافية والسلامة وحققنا بالتقوى والاستقامة وأعذنا من موجبات الندامة إنك سميع الدعاء اللهم اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وأولادنا مشايخنا وإخواننا في الدين وأصحابنا ولمن أحبنا فيك ولمن أحسن إلينا والمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات يا رب العالمين وصل اللهم على عبدك ورسولك سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم وارزقنا كمال المتابعة له ظاهرا وباطنا في عافية وسلامة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. الحمد لله. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. First of all, something of an announcement that Adhkar will now be taking place at 3:30. Sorry, 4:30 a.m. inshallah. All right, so the Adhkar will now take place at 4:30 a.m. instead of 4:45. So I think that makes sense since Fajr is in at 4:12. You're going to observe Imsak at around, like, let's say 4 o'clock to 4:05 is when you stop eating. Okay, that's Imsak. And then you pray, let's say you pray at 4:15. Give it a few minutes. You're not going to pray as soon as the adhan comes in. You're going to give it a few minutes. Even if you were to pray at 4:20, then 4:30 is plenty of time to make it here. Right? Hamza Hussein's in Chicago. MashaAllah. He's basically just having suhoor. All this time I didn't know Hamza Hussein was from Chicago. So MashaAllah. So Alhamdulillah, Nadia Pranik, AAZ, and Shar Patel are giving salam. So alaikum salam to everyone. Alhamdulillah. I want to talk about, for some reason, there's scholars of the past are really coming to my mind, because anytime that you're in a time of oddness, weirdness, change, maybe you can even call it turmoil, you have a tendency to want to go back to your past, and you want to reestablish your roots, because that's really what it is. Anytime that there's a shakeup in regular life, something inside of you wants to go and reaffirm your roots. You want to strengthen your roots. You want to fortify your roots. And so that's what's calling my mind back to the people of our past, and in specific, our recent past, because it sort of gives you some reassurance. And unlike other movements, right, there are Protestant style movements. The Protestant movement, and we have our own type of Protestant style movement, is a movement that says we're now reviving the truth or living the truth, and the only other people who lived the truth were the early, or the first generation, right? So like for the Protestants, it's like Jesus, and then them. Well, what happened to all the centuries in between? No, they were all misguided. All right. Some Muslims also have this concept that, and maybe it's just out of not knowing, right? You don't, it's just people aren't aware. It's like, it's us now, and it's the Prophet's time. But what happened to all the centuries in between? I'm sure they weren't misguided. It's impossible, right? This is not some kind of golden age of understanding. So we have to have that, we get that full picture. And the scene that's in my mind right now is, it's Lebanon, right? And it's the dirt roads, and it's right before World War One. Literally, like right before the First World War is about to break out. And there's a young Turkish sheikh. He's a student of knowledge, really, is what he is at this time. And he goes and he finds another sheikh from the Caucasus, who he relates to, because the Turks and the Hanafis and the Caucasus Hanafis, and also, non-Arabs, people who learned Arabic. So he relates to this sheikh from the Caucasus, Dagestan. And so he comes to meet this sheikh from Dagestan in Lebanon, Tripoli, and he starts to stay with him and learn from him. And he relates to him, and he's happy there. So he's staying in the sheikh has a little room, and he's staying with him in the room, and they're going to the masjid, praying, studying, learning, reciting, doing Adhkar after Fajr the way we are, things like this. And then sometime later, the sheikh gives him instruction. And this is so that you can understand what the olden days were like, what the days of your great-grandparents, really our great-grandparents, were like.
And like I said last night, we're the people of the connected chain. So we like to keep that history alive. Okay, we like to keep that short term and long term histories alive by recounting how they used to live. And they used to do things that were different than us, right? I mean, we do things that they couldn't imagine that we do, right? Such as living in non-Muslim countries. That's the first thing. They couldn't imagine that. We, rent out hotels for Eid, and down, the hallway of where we're praying Eid is a bar, right or wrong. That happens. For us, we don't say that's many communities had to do that in the past. Pray Eid in the hotel, and that was just a necessity. So things change every generation, but it's important to have an idea of what things used to be like, so that we have a context for ourselves. Well, his sheikh at one point told him, "I think you're ready for the khalwa." Right? And what is that? That is the time that you spend alone in the worship of Allah Ta'ala to truly purify yourself and truly attain ma'rifah, right? Ma'rifah, knowledge of Allah Ta'ala. And in those days, the ummah was vast, the ummah was generous. The idea about worrying about your sustenance just was something that generally didn't, wasn't as heightened as it is today. He said, "I want you to travel to Iraq and go to the masjid of Abdul Qadir al-Jailani and initiate 40 days of ibadah. And there you will find a man who will take care of you." Immediately, he stood up, he said salam to his sheikh, he hugged it, he embraced his sheikh, he collected his belongings, and he left immediately. And he saw the first person, he asked him, "Which way is north?" And the man pointed that way. He started walking. Just like that, he started walking. A few minutes into his walk, a truck stopped by. Said, "Looks like you're walking very quickly somewhere. Are you in a rush? Can we give you a ride?" He said, "Yes, I'm in a rush to get to Iraq." They looked at each other. "Iraq? What?" He said, "Okay, get in the back of the truck. We're going north. We'll stop you off whenever we stop." So he gets in the back of a pickup truck and he starts going. They all go north. He gets off. He gets to the next pit stop. So he's basically hitchhikes his way all the way up to Iraq. He gets there to the city, and then he asks, "Where is the Masjid of Abdul Qadir al-Jilani?" They point him. Again, he just walks, and if a car picks him up, they pick him up. And in a few days, he arrived at the masjid. As soon as he got to the masjid, he sat down, he made his wudu, he prayed his 2 rakahs, and he began exactly what his sheikh told him to do, which is to recite the Quran. And if he finishes the Quran, then to recite from Jala'ilul Khairat. And if he finishes from Jala'ilul Khairat, then to recite from La ilaha illallah, dhikr of La ilaha illallah. And that he should fast every day. Okay? And so this is what he did. He sat in himself in a small corner, and some of these old masajid, and if you go to the Turkish masajid, some of them you'll see this, where it almost had like a student little tiny niche and with a door in it, where a student could actually close the door on himself, or a person could close the door on himself inside the masjid. So it's usually alongside the walls. And in the one masjid that I remember in Turkey, it's along the back of the masjid. There are these little raised, it's like a niche. You take one step and you go into it and you close the door, right? And it has a window facing the outside. And you just open a door, and then you open the door and you come out into the musalla again. It's sort of hard to explain, but it seems like it's made for people who want to do solitary worship inside the masjid, so that they would be all alone, close the door on themselves, and then open the door again and come out for the obligatory prayer and then go back. And that's exactly what he did. He had a little area like that in the back that he would sit in. If he wanted to close the door, he could close the door. When he needed to go for the obligatory prayer, he'd come out and do the obligatory prayer. Now, he said that his entire routine was that he would have suhoor, and he would start reciting the Quran right after suhoor, and that he would actually finish half. He would finish about 10 to 15 juz by the time that he got sleepy again, which was shortly before dhuhr, and then he would fall asleep. He would wake up for Salat al-Dhuhr, and then he would recite again. And he would finish the entire Quran slightly before Maghrib. Okay? Finish the entire Quran slightly before Maghrib. Now you might ask, didn't the Prophet prohibit that? The answer is no, the Prophet didn't prohibit that, but what he said is that what is best for contemplation is to recite it in 3 days, or that it was specific to that individual. But it's known that Sayyidina Uthman ibn Affan used to recite his witr with the entire Quran, and that Sayyidina al-Imam Abu Hanifa used to recite the entire Quran in 1 day. So the hadith about that is taken on as a recommendation for contemplation, for contemplation's sake. So just as an aside. And so he would recite the entire Quran and finish every single day around slightly before Maghrib as the sun was setting. Then he would take a break for himself. All right. And then it would be Maghrib. He would have his iftar. He would eat. And then Dala'il al-Khairat is much shorter. So he would finish Dala'il al-Khairat around a little bit after Salat al-Isha, cover to cover. And then for the rest of the time, he would say La ilaha illallah until he fell asleep. That masjid had a khadim to it. All those big masajid had a number of khadims or khuddam, or basically servants of the mosques. And one of them immediately had this inclination to take care of him. He said, it looks like you are someone coming to do ibadah in this masjid, and I'll take care of you. He said, you're fasting, and we'll get you the suhoor, and we'll get you the iftar. So his sheikh was right that there will be someone there to take care of him. And so he started to take care of him. And subhanAllah, he said the first day was somewhat difficult, but the second day, the third day, then I became like on a roll, like in a groove, you could say, what we call a groove, right? And he began to see beautiful dreams. He would see different Sahaba, different prophets, and then Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that's the greatest of all. But just to show you that that's the type of forefathers that we had in our ummah, like true ubad, and this is what he did. He finished his 40 days. And on the 40th day, he also saw a vision of Abdul Qadir al-Jailani, who congratulated him and told him, you have great work to do. So he finished his 40 days, and he went back and he received the next instruction from his sheikh. That instruction was, I want you the same way that you came to me, to go back to your homeland, but in the same manner. Stop it, you walk. If someone picks you up, drive with them. If someone doesn't, you keep walking. But I want you to stop at every single city on the way back to your little town, which is on the outskirts, some random town in Turkey, in what we call Turkey today. And I want you to do da'wah in every single city. I mean, can you imagine? So that's basically like going like from New Jersey to Chicago, but we stop at every single town, go to the town, find somewhere to talk to the people, right? Meet the people, talk to them, do dua with them, do some kind of wa'adh with them, all the way until you arrive at at your town. Okay. Now, meanwhile, all this time is happening, World War I is breaking out, right? So he's doing this at every town. He's reminding people of Allah. This is like, amazing. I mean, I really wish that chronicle would be written in more details about this. So he'd go in at every stop, at every town, he'd give them da'wah. sometimes in the masjid, sometimes in the marketplace, wherever circumstance, any person he would see, he would try to give them an advice. And in those days, people honored and respected anyone who wore religious garb, right? If you wore that type of, they would wear, the Turks had a unique dress. It was a big baggy pants, okay? Big baggy pants, a long shirt, a shirt, almost to the knee, not exactly to the knee, but almost to the knee. And then it was like the abaya, which is like a jacket, a big jacket with big sleeves, and it was all the way down to the ankles. And then they'd wear the cap or the turban, sometimes hold a stick, a walking stick, and have the aqiq ring, and have traditional shoes. We're talking 20s and 30s and stuff. So he does this. Now, when he arrives back at his homeland, he starts giving dawah there, but something happens. Ataturk happened. Ataturk. So this was the wisdom that he has to go give dawah to every single town on the way, because Ataturk is coming. He's about to abolish the religion, basically. He really is about to abolish everything. Okay. And so people needed to be reminded. And that was one of his purposes, is to remind people before this miserable situation that Ataturk is going to bring to the people. And Ataturk truly brings this darkness. And when he gets to his area, he realizes that no one's giving the adhan. So he starts giving the adhan. Like he gets back to his home city. Imagine you get back to your home city, no one calls the adhan. So he starts calling the adhan himself. And one day, he gets a ticket, right? An officer of the law shows up and gives him a ticket. He says, "What is this ticket for?" He said, "You're due in court. You've broken the law." He said, "What broken the law?" He said, "You're not allowed to call the adhan anymore." Right? It's just to go to show you what Ataturk did. You can't call the adhan anymore. He said, "What do you mean you can't call the adhan? What kind of insanity is this?" He said, "No, Ataturk Mustafa Kemal, he banned it. You can't call the adhan anymore." He said, "Wallahi al-azim, I'm calling the adhan." Okay. He then proceeded to call the adhan for every prayer from a different masjid until he accumulated 63 tickets in his little town, the little hamlet town that he was from. 63 tickets for calling the adhan. And then he has to show up to court. And that day, he just put his affair in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said, "Oh Allah, you know that this is what we've done is haqq. So if we did it for your sake, then protect me today." He gets to court. Lo and behold, the mayor of the town has gotten a heart attack, and court cannot be in session. Right? So court was delayed. Goes the next time. The mayor has passed away. There's a new mayor, and he's forgiving all the old tickets. Right? So that mayor had died, and he was basically out of trouble. But again, what he did is proceeded to travel all throughout the land. Him, and he had a wife, and he had a small family, and he would travel with them, not worrying about rizq, not worrying about anything. Okay, because subhanAllah, the world that back then was a lot different than it is today, and it was bad at that time. Ataturk's time was a bad time. Islam was being shut out, and yet he persisted with such a passion. Okay, we totally underestimate these people, where they get their passion from and where they get their love of Allah from. He persisted to go city to city, township to township, giving dawah. And he's not giving dawah to like 10,000 people. He's giving dawah to like 5 people at a time. Reminding them of Allah, teaching them dua, teaching them to do basic things, right? And himself being an image of the deen by his constantly wearing the Islamic clothes of that time, having a big beard, having a turban, and it was a reminder for people. Now, I mean, that might not work in our time, and it may or may not. It depends. It may and it may not. And there's when I was in Yemen, they used to teach that whatever covers the awrah and is loose is upon the sunnah, right? It's fulfilling, it's sufficient. And it's not just that the Prophet ﷺ, he always wore flowing clothes, but it's also sunnah that you don't look distinct amongst the people. That's also one of the sunnah, right? So the sunnah is not just to wear the garment that the Prophet wore. There's a spirit about this, right? The Prophet also had the spirit that he was not distinguishable. That people would come in, they don't know who's the Prophet. Imam Malik, he actually said, libas shuhra is haram, which libas shuhra is any garment that you wear, clothes that you wear that would make people say, wow, look how pious you are, right? So he hated that. He hated this. And according to one of the opinions of Malik, there's two opinions on the beard. One of the opinions is that the fist length, and everyone know what a fist length is, that if you were grab the hair of your chin with your hand and make a fist to grab it, right? So what's still under what goes through your hand, right, is the fist length. And Ibn Umar is the one who used to cut his hair there, right? Well, Imam Malik said the fist length is the maximum, in one of his opinions, of what a Muslim's beard should be. Okay? That's the maximum of what his beard should be. In another opinion, it's the minimum. But Malik used to say, whatever the people consider to be a beard, that's the beard. And therefore, there is a consciousness that we don't want to look so different. And we don't want to attract attention to ourselves. So that's on the one hand. But on the other hand, they did say that there should be some people in every community who uphold the image of what the garment of the scholars are, or the sunnah is. So it shouldn't be one way or the other. Okay, there should be some people that uphold that heritage of how the Prophet used to dress, or how the companions used to dress, etc. Okay, so it goes both ways. So he used to uphold that, and so he was a striking image, and he continued to do this really until the end of his life. And he expanded his travels. He started doing trips to England and to East Asia, traveled all over the place, fighting to keep Iman in the hearts of people. And that's really what we have to all be doing. And even if we consider ourselves to be nothing, and we're just weak, and that's what we think, and we're not even 1/100th of the ibadah that they used to do. And we're not even talking about Salaf. This is someone that lived less than 100 years ago. They just died a couple decades ago, right? So these are people, we're a people, if we recited 2 juz, we get exhausted, right? Like it becomes burdensome upon us. And these were people who would recite 1 khatam a day. So it doesn't matter. I don't compare myself, and you don't want to compare yourself, because you're going to get yourself so deep into a deficit. We're never going to meet up to the expectations and to the standards set by our Salaf. So all we can do is honor them and be humble in their presence, in the presence of their stories. That they are really humbling. The fact that they were so pure, so pure. Just think about this. I mean, just one trip to the supermarket for us. One trip to the supermarket. You're going to see in the stands at the aisle when you check out, People magazine, Us magazine, all these other magazines, Vanity Fair, you're going to see all these magazines. You're going to see more awrah in that moment than they saw their entire lifetimes, because these things didn't exist. That's how pure they were. So that's why we have to honor the Salaf. The Salaf does not just mean the first 3 generations, right? That's in technical Islamic terminology, that's the Salaf, the first 3 generations. But for us, it's anyone who came before us. They were pure people. And that's a gift from Allah Ta'ala. Maybe they didn't even realize they had that gift. But we recognize it. The ayn, the eye today is so impure. So what happens is the basira is also impure. the insight. Just as our eyes have become impure, just as filth has been thrown upon them, right, from every direction. Likewise, the results of that is that our insight is impure. Okay, and when that happens, it becomes more incumbent upon us to return back to dhikrillah. And this is why it's really important to share the screen so that people could follow along, whether it's the transliteration or the Arabic, to follow along and to learn how to do dhikrullah. I mean, we can't emphasize this enough. This is how you bathe. This is how you wash yourself. And dhikr helps in salah, because salah, aqim as-salata li dhikri, establish the salah for my remembrance. Salah cannot be the only time you're doing remembrance. You need to do remembrance outside the salah, so that when you come into the salah, this is like, you're like a fish in water. Okay. So I can't emphasize how important it is for us to learn how to recite the Quran, to learn how to make dua, to learn how to say the Adhkar. VT Hoki 2009 is asking where we find the dua of Surah Yasin. Email nbic.clips@gmail.com. And that dua after Yasin will be sent to you, inshallah. And so it's incumbent upon us to facilitate for people who can't read Arabic, just read the transliteration, because you need to do dhikr anyway. And I know in the back of some people's minds, so why transliteration make people learn the Arabic? Okay, it's going to take 2 years for them to learn the alif ba and the Arabic language. Are we going to not have any dhikr until then? No, read the transliteration. Okay, read the translation. Over time, by saying the same wird over and over, you're going to start learning certain vocabulary terms, certain words, mufradat, you're going to know them. If you are someone who does not know the Arabic language, go to myarcview.org, okay, for Arabic alphabet and tajweed, okay, myarcview.org. And there's a class there for intro to the Arabic alphabet. And there's a class there for tajweed, how to recite the Quran properly. We literally take you letter by letter, what the alif looks like, what the bat looks like, what the ta looks like. But you have to understand the purpose. This is not academic, all right? I would never study another language for just an academic reason, right? Rather, what you should do is you should know that this is for ibadah. This is so that when you feel down, when you feel unclean, when you feel rusty, you make wudu, okay? You pick up the mushaf, you open it, you set your clock. You don't move for at least 20 minutes. That's it, 20 minutes. You watch a show on Netflix is 1 hour. That's 20 minutes times 3, right? And that hour goes by like nothing, and you want to watch the second one, and then sometimes the third one, and boom, you've watched 3 hours, right? If that's the normal way people live today, right? So what is 20 minutes in comparison to that? It's literally nothing. But just recite the Quran for 20 minutes, you'll see what happens to you. This is our spiritual cleanliness and our cleansing of ourselves. So with that, we'll stop right here, inshallah. Again, from here on, it's 4:30 for the Adhkar, since the time is moving up. And it has moved up for a while. We've been due to make this change, but I didn't want to go 4:45, 4:40, 4:35. I'd rather just make one big jump. So that big jump starts tomorrow, and that will be inshallah at 4:30. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك. نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت. نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله.